Welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all, and we are good rookies.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? I hope y'all having a happy, good Tuesday to you all. And guys, guess what? It's episode 25.
25.
25. Yo, Faheem, bro. We are in Black History Month, and you know, good rookies. And as I quote our homie Jomo, for us it's Black History every week. You know what I'm saying? So big up to our tech guy Jomo for that amazing quote. So Faheem, I know as we're in the midst of February, we have a lot to discuss. So let's take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so we got a lot on the dock right now. Actually, first I want to say this. Anyone who's watching visually, if you notice, I have a coconut on the top of my head.
Pick a line in the coconut. Is that a song? Line in the coconut.
Anyone who's listening, I just have a red coconut in my head, and people are always asking me, hey, like, what's going on with that on your head? Real quick, I'm walking to get groceries, and there's a tree. Tree has a branch, and the branch is like the side. It's not like a small branch. It's like my forearm. It's a thick branch, and I have my hat on, right? So the hat is, you know how when you drive, you have a blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that branch was in my blind spot, right above my visor. So I did not see this coming. I'm walking, and literally at full speed, smashed my head against a branch. Good thing I had the hat on. What was that, Nelly J?
I shouldn't be laughing, but that's funny.
Oh man,
Mercy.
slap. I got home. My wife was asking, "Are you concussed? Are you?" I'm like, "No, I'm okay." But I got a shiner to show for it. So good thing I had the hat on, because if I didn't have that hat on, it's a head busting.
Yo, we gotta do a concussion protocol for good Ricky.
Yes.
Let's call the doctors back on still. Dr. J, Dr. B. We need y'all. Oh, take a line in the coconut. Hey, listen, I call those battle wounds. You know what I'm saying? Battle wounds. Listen, going grocery shopping is a battle. It's a battle thing now. You know what I'm saying? With COVID, it's a fight up thing. So hey.
Did you hear about Zion and Karl Malone? Karl Malone, he's talking about Zion, pretty much saying what a lot of people actually, it's been on a lot of people's minds, worried about Zion's weight and his ability to dominate at that weight.
Yeah.
So Karl Malone, he has a point where he's coming from. But what do you got to say to that, of him being?
I want to quote what he said, right?
All right, go ahead.
So he said, I'm still waiting on him to play the whole damn season. Newsflash, we still waiting. And then he continued to say on the podcast that he was on, he said, and he needs to be averaging 40 minutes a game. Look here, you're a 21, 22-year-old kid. Your ass shouldn't get tired. First of all, Karl Malone, number one, he has a point to a limit, right? We all know that Zion had injuries. Serious injury, that he was out for a season. Like, he wasn't just like had a sprained ankle. He was, I think, a torn meniscus, which is pretty
right.
serious.
You're right. Yep.
So he was out, and then a bubble happened. They were in a bubble. Sorry, Karl Malone, he couldn't play. He was in the bubble, and now the season just started, and we're starting now in December during a pandemic with COVID postponement. Like, I get what he's saying, but it isn't like Zion's controlling the world. Like, there's different issues that he has to face that I think is unfair. His comment makes sense. I do think he has to lose weight. That everyone has said that. Like, that's not a news flash. But I just think Karl Malone should keep kids out of his mouth. The term kid should not be stated by Karl Malone. That's all I'm gonna say. And it's funny because I'm gonna share some jokes. So on Twitter, you know how Black Twitter is the best, right? So on Twitter, a couple of people had some comments that I have to share because literally I died. Okay, I literally died. So I would say this young gentleman, Tyler Conway. So J. Tyler Conway, he said, Karl Malone, as always, should stop worrying about people who are half his age. Dead. Then we have Swiss Show Snoov. He's Swiss Show mode. He said, Karl Malone don't need to be commenting on anybody's kids or kids at all for that matter. And the third tweet I have to share is by J Maples 55_MST. He says, "What do I think about Karl Malone's comment about Zion? I think he should be R. Kelly's cellmate." Next. Dead. So of course Twitter and fans didn't care for it. Again, right? I'm not saying what he's saying is inaccurate. Just that because Karl Malone, like, he shouldn't be saying anything.
Well, Karl Malone, watch this. So Karl Malone, at his playing weight, he was 250, ripped, 6'8", 250. It's a good ball weight. Zion's 6'8", 280. So Zion's got 30 pounds on him, right? The thing is with Zion is this. He's super effective right now. Right now, regardless of what one says about his weight, he's one of the most effective ball players in the league right now. He's averaging like 24 points, 8 boards, and he's doing on 60% from the field. So with the weight, what if people are looking for him to do what he did at Duke in regards to just be super explosive and dunk on? You have to understand, there's difference, like college and NBA, there's levels to this. And Zion, for what he's doing with grown men in the league, being in his second year, I think he's overachieving. I know there's a lot of hype with him, but if he's backing, remember, this is not Zion talking. This is people's expectations on Zion, right?
Agreed.
So, I mean, Karl Malone, I just want to say this in regards to the weight. You have, for instance, Kevin Love. And remember when Kevin Love played for Minnesota? And he was like one of the best rebounders in the game. And he was easily 30 pounds heavier. He trimmed the weight, played with LeBron, and he was still a good player, but a bigger version of Kevin Love seemed to be a lot more effective. Agreed. So some people can actually play with the weight. Sometimes losing the weight can actually hurt you in some cases. So, I mean, if Zion is doing this at this weight, I said just allow him and see what's a comfortable weight for him to play at. That's what I would say.
Yes. As we end this first part of the zone topic, don't be saying kid anytime soon, Mr. Karl Malone. That's all.
So
I'll say it.
Just give some context with this. Explain to people why kids and Karl Malone, what the joke is, in case they didn't know.
Okay, so Karl Malone, he fathered, so his son was a former NFL player, Demetrius Bell, right? Yes. So when Karl Malone was 20, he was a sophomore at Louisiana Tech. Malone impregnated Bell's mother. At the time, she was 13.
Right.
He even refused to pay child support for many years. The family was only asking for, I think, $200 a week for Karl Malone. He was making over $100 million. So that's via ESPN. And even the judge, actually, because a PAT test was made, that was his child, and the judge ruled that he must pay, $125 a week. So he was forced to pay for child support. And I think afterwards, I think they settled outside of court after that. But anyway, that's the context behind Karl Malone and the term kid. That's why. Next. Next.
All right. So Nelly J, did you hear about Lionel Messi's completely absurd contract he signed? It's the world's
yeah. So you kind of talked about it with me, but kind of tell the viewers more about his contract. I don't think a lot of people knew about it.
All right. So Messi, he signed a contract. The contract got leaked. Now, the reason why it's on a lot of people's radar is the amount is just crazy. It's the biggest contract in sports history. Barcelona, the team he plays for, did not want people to know about this. They wanted to keep it under wraps because it's not really a good look, especially when your team, as much as you're one of the biggest teams in the world, you're also riddled with a ton of debt also. So it's not a good look to have a ton of debt and have such an obscene contract. So the contract goes like this. It's a 4-year, $700 million.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So, and then that's a conversion to Canadian dollars that we're in now. So it's 4 years, 700 million. So it works out to be about $500,000 a day, approximately. It's crazy. So just to give context with this contract is, if you took LeBron's contract, Brady, Mahomes, and Trout combined in a year, that's what you're looking at for one player.
The thing is that everyone should just play soccer, football, playing Playing basketball is like cheap. It's like cheapness. It's like it's like,
well,
that's
like,
insane.
NBA, in regards to culturally, it's one of the biggest, like, or one of the most influential, I'll say culturally,
Yes,
but let's not get it twisted. Soccer is the world's game.
it is.
And
I'm shocked. I mean, it is embarrassing. Imagine like your team is like filing for bankruptcy and all that stuff, and you're paying people X amount of dollars. That is extremely insane. I saw some tabloids saying that they wanted like the team wanted it to be leaked on purpose to try to get out of the contract. Like I don't know what's going on, but yeah, there's so many because right now they all want to blame someone for this leakage, right? And they're saying it's the team's fault, whoever's fault it is. But I think the team is actually trying to do a lawsuit against the person who did it. Because I think that breaches a contract. Yeah, there's enough bacchanal behind this leakage. So I'll have my popcorn in Canada to see what else will happen from this. But like Messi is getting paid a lot of money. And
so
that's crazy.
the good thing is this, and a lot of times you hear people getting monstrous contracts and they really can't really back it up. At least we can say Messi can back it up. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna dole out that kind of money, they made the right choice. But wow, I mean, it's crazy.
Paid 500K a day though.
So with the NBA, who would you say is the biggest contract in the NBA right now?
So Steph Curry has so this season he's getting paid the most this season with 43 million. And after him, who's shockingly surprised, is Chris Paul. We know Chris Paul. Yeah, I know. But remember, like with the Clippers, he kind of his contract with the Clippers, he just took all their money. So that's why. So
Right.
yeah, but number one is Steph Curry, 43 million. So if like Messi's getting paid how much money? Yeah, like yeah.
uh, with the Raps, so the Raptors re-signed Bobby Webster, which is a huge plus, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to keep the folks that has helped us build a championship team that was there under Masai, right? So when it comes to Nick Nurse, Webster, these are all like no-brainers, right? If I'm
Mhm.
MLSC, I'm definitely signing the folks that helped me get a ring. Because if we can build it once, we can do it again.
Mhm. So with Bobby Webster as being the GM, besides the president, right? So we've locked down, the Raps have locked down the GM. The president, Masai Ujiri, he's still up in the air right now, right?
Yes. I'm scared. Like honestly, like no diss to Bobby. Like I'm happy for you, but honestly, I just want to see Masai. Like I'm waiting for Masai to resign. So I feel like I can't be excited for Webster being signed until I know Masai's coming back. And the fact that like every day a new team wants Masai. Like every day I'm seeing a new team that wants Masai. Their plan is to go after Masai. We know the Knicks want him. We know Washington Wizards want him. Like and I'm sure more will be added as we get closer to the summertime. So I just want him to be back. Like Masai, I think is a part of our culture in Toronto. He's built a good legacy within the fans here, and I just would like him to come back. So Masai, if you're watching this, please come back, please, please.
So there's different ways to look at this, though, Nelly J. I want to ask you this then. The Raptors locked up the GM, Bobby Webster, right? There's a way you could look at it to say, well, you know, Bobby Webster, he's a protege of Masai. So one way could be, lock up Bobby Webster uh, to make Masai feel comfortable to stay, or it could be a way for them to say, you know what, let's lock up Bobby Webster, and maybe Masai is leaving the team in capable hands. So which one do you think it is?
I'm hoping for number one option.
Mhm, mhm,
But I
mhm.
mean, it could be either way. Like Masai, Webster is his dude. So I can see
Right.
Messiah wanting to take care of his folks before he leaves. That's obviously very noble of him. And I can see him saying, you know what, if you want me to stay, keep the folks that I know that I trust. Because the thing with the Raptors is that our team is very private and we're very top notch when it comes to like keeping like no drama.
Right.
Rarely heard Raptors in any type of foolishness in the media, whereas
Mhm.
other teams are always in mix up. So I think the culture is so unique that I think by him securing the folks that he likes that are going to stay here, it may make him want to stay here even more. So either one works, but I'm hoping it's option A of him keeping the folks here so he can stay with them.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a few options here. I'll give you, say, 3 options. Okay, so
Next option.
Bobby, yeah, watch this. Bobby Webster,
Okay.
he's made some big moves. Now, a lot of times when big moves are made with the Raptors, Masai always gets the praise, right? But technically, these things were under Bobby Webster's watch, so let's give him respect where respect's due. First one is trading DeMar and Pirtle to the Spurs and getting Kawhi and Danny Green.
Yes.
Second one, dealing JV and DeLon Wright to the Grizzlies to get Marc Gasol.
Genius.
Third one, we'll go with actually replacing Dwayne Casey with Nick Nurse.
Hey, hallelujah.
And let me go with the fourth one. Let me throw a fourth
in
one.
church right now. Church. Praise the Lord.
Let me get a fourth one. Locking up Fred VanVleet for $85 million over 4 years.
That's
so I just gave you 4. Of the 4 of them, which one do you think is the most impressive on his resume?
Kawhi, come on. I don't think people will have the balls to do that stuff. Like, think about it. When Harden left, like, most people got what? They got first-round picks, not an actual superstar in return. We got a superstar in return of an all-star. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's insane. They used Popovich and the Spurs, the taste for Kawhi, to ship him all the way up north. So to me, I think that was a great chess move for the Raptors to get. And again, like, it's DeMar DeRozan. Like, the fans loved him here. We still love him.
Right.
But to beat out Ball to say, you know what? It's a risk. I could be hated for this, but guess what? We're going to do it. That to me was very impressive.
Okay, what's the second one then?
Number 2, I would say Marc Gasol, another one. I think, again, people were attached to JV. I don't think Marc Gasol was the best. Like, he wasn't like outstanding player. But I
disagree.
Saw that. What do you mean disagree? Oh, what do you mean?
With number 2, I'm going with Nick Nurse. I think.
Oh, Nick Nurse. Oh well, you're distaste for
Dwayne Casey.
the way you dislike Dwayne Casey, I'm not shocked. Okay, you were cutting that man's name from year 2 of him being here, so I'm not even surprised.
No, but I still think that the Raptors still could have done what we did with getting the championship, even if we didn't move. If we kept JV and didn't have Gasol, okay, but watch this. Do you think we could have done it with Dwayne Casey? I think of the 2, I think getting Nick Nurse is a lot more, influential to that championship than us getting Marc Gasol.
So it depends, right? Because the run, I look at it as 4 segments, right? Round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4. The most critical round for us was against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Right.
That to me was their most crucial game. They had Butler, they had Embiid, they had Simmons. Like, their team was stacked. And I just think defensively, we only got Marc Gasol for that one series. That's it. We got it because we're like, hold up, guys. In the playoffs, JV's great, but he can't talk to Embiid. He can't.
Okay.
So I think that was why we got Marc Gasol for that one series, which was a 7-game series. So
then if you think that we got Marc Gasol for that one series in which, I'm not fully with you.
I'm saying the major purpose was because Philly was our contender that year.
I get it, but watch this. Without Nick Nurse, we don't get past Milwaukee. We don't get past Philly. We don't get past. Our road does not
Orlando,
happen.
You mean Orlando? I think Orlando too. Been swept against Orlando. Yes. Listen, I get it. Dwayne Casey was an issue. I'm not denying that, and I do see your point of Dwayne Casey or Nick Nurse or Marc Gasol. Who would I pick? For sure, Nick Nurse or Marc Gasol.
Okay.
What I'm saying though is that's it. That move was easier because fans didn't like Dwayne Casey, whereas JV, people liked him and they're like, oh, it's the same player, and I'm like, even this year, like Marc Gasol leaving us. We see why he was important. Like, we can see it now, Marc Gasol's influence with Serge. Like, those 2 were a key piece in our team, right? So all I'm saying is that, but I think Marc Gasol was very influential when it comes to us playing in crucial minutes, in crucial times, especially against Philadelphia. But
He
yes, when it
was.
comes to the overall picture, Nick Nurse, yes, he's here. Casey's here. But
That's
yeah,
right. Nick Nurse, boxing one. Shout out to Bobby Webster because I know a lot of these moves, it's always Masai, 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 and no one really speaks Bobby Webster. Only like people who follow ball really know who Bobby Webster is. If he's like a lot of casuals still think it's Masai, right? So let's give Bobby Webster respect where respect's due. He's a GM.
absolutely.
These are all very formidable things that happen on his watch. Let's give him the respect and congratulations on the signing. And hopefully that signing is going to have us keeping Masai.
Absolutely.
Let's go to for the culture, Nelly J.
Well, the culture, as y'all know, we like to highlight individuals and organizations that are for the culture. And this week, we want to highlight someone else. And I'm not going to say her name wrong. Um, and now I might say it wrong because I'm thinking too hard. But
Yeah.
Naomi Osaka, all right?
Congratulations. You
Good.
got it this time.
Woo, okay. Ranked number 3, tennis superstar. She just became da, 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 part owner of a national women's soccer league team called the
That's
North
right.
Carolina Courage.
That's right.
Crazy. Like
Mhm.
this girl, like she's just doing it all for you.
Yes. So, female sports person of the year, this is her time right now. And I think, first of all, I want to say this. Uh, the National Women's Soccer League, during COVID, they had a tournament that was happening. And they were one of the earlier starting sports to be on. So that's actually the first time that I actually sat down and watched women's soccer. And I must admit, I was loving it. I'm not just saying, like, honestly, if I
Do
had
it.
a choice between watching the WNBA for 2 hours and watching the
I
National Women's
knew, I
Soccer
knew,
League,
I knew, I
I'm
knew.
watching National Women's
I
Soccer
knew you
League
were gonna do this. I
100
knew it. I knew it. I'm like, he's
um,
a compare with WNBA, isn't he? Yes, yes.
and the level that the women are playing at is extremely high. Even Women World Cup, like women's soccer, like I just like women soccer. Like I think the level I'm watching, uh, there's things that I'm seeing in regards to level. There's not a drop in skill for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing
Mm,
passes that are going cross field in the air right to her foot. I'm just like, wow, like top notch players. So that's my first experience of watching it, and I would continue. So
oh,
seeing that
I'm
also.
very happy that you said that.
Oh, really?
Yes. Well, you know why, right?
Uh,
Because last summer, a year ago, those same athletes were asking for equal pay.
yes.
And a lot of those ladies, I felt, because women's soccer to me is different from the basketball ladies, right? Because I've always felt that those ladies, those women on the field are exceptionally like great athletes, like exceptional athletes. And I feel like the men's USA team is not even like compared to the world stage are very low compared to the women's US soccer team.
Mhm.
So I always felt like, yeah, like in that instance, I can see why them asking for more money makes sense because their skill sets is as good, or even in some cases, you could play as hard as the men's USA team. But of course, endorsements and all stuff has to be involved. But I'm happy you did kind of talk about how great their skills was because I really think they should get paid more money for sure.
Oh, for sure. One thing about the league also is it's been around for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 10-team league. They're in the ninth season, but they're one thing I do like is unlike. Okay, let me preface this. Say this: this is not a shot at the WNBA. It's well documented. I'm not a fan of the WNBA, right? Um, but I will say, unlike the WNBA, this soccer league is expanding. So they've just expanded to have another team this year to make it their 10th team. I just want to ask you, what do you think the expansion fee is for a team?
Well, I would say probably like if if MLS is about 4 to 10 million, I'll say maybe I don't know, a million or two.
You got it. $1
Mm.
million expansion fee. So with the WNBA, though, I was reading that their expansion fee is about 10 million. So it's a lot more. But of the two leagues, the WNBA gets a lot more exposure, I feel like. there's not really a lot
Well,
of
it's more for, I mean, it's more for the culture. They have more black players. I'm just gonna keep it 100. Like, it's not really anything else. I just think WNBA. Remember, in North America, the top sport is basketball, right? That's obviously the number one sport in North America when it comes to our national teams. So the NBA having a women's national basketball league, plus that league does a lot of activism. Like, they're always in the forefront of protesting and everything. So what they're doing on off the court is getting more, I think, more and more exposure. Even now, Kobe endorsed it, LeBron's endorsed it, so it's getting more flack from big names, right?
right.
Who's the top like soccer USA star that's as big as LeBron? Think about that, right? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So that's the thing. Like, if the soccer world can get one superstar soccer player like a Messi in America, then they'll probably get more exposure. But until that happens, it will always be kind of like a nice to watch, a good to like enjoyment, but it will never be in the same level as the stage because there, there isn't any major or huge superstars endorsing it yet. But I'm sure it will happen in the future.
right. Was
It's
it
kind of early, right? So.
Megan Raponi, or you got Christine
Mm-hmm.
St. Clair? She plays in the league. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you've got. Trust me, I'm not going against what you're saying, because none of these people are on LeBron or like any notoriety. You'd have to really know the sport. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you could say the same thing with WNBA players also. I don't think there's any WNBA players that
Lisa
have
Leslie, she's
crossed.
huge. Lisa Leslie's always been will be number one superstar. She
So
dunked the first person dunked in the
now
NBA.
we know that because we follow ball, right? If you went
Yeah,
to a
but
casual
I
and
mean,
said,
like Lisa Leslie has been in movies,
no, no,
commercials. Like she's kind of like entertainer now too. Like, she's not just an athlete. Like, she been modeled. Like, Lisa Leslie was that top like first like superstar that was
mhm,
beyond just an athlete. So
mhm,
so all I'm saying is that if they get one soccer player that's like that,
that
that's
could
like
break.
popular and like is modeling or doing different I know it sounds kind of like shallow, but it's just the media
Mhm.
how it works,
Well, I
unfortunately.
want to say also, Serena. She's
Hmm.
also an owner, also in that league. She owns a team called the Angel City FC. They're in
She owns it.
LA.
She owns it, or her daughter owns it. I know she bought a team for her daughter.
So then you know what? So yes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, her daughter
that
owns the team. Yeah,
so then
it's her daughter's name. So
right.
it's awesome, and I hope
Mhm.
we see more people of color ownerships like moving forward. Remember, right? These leagues starting today. In 10 years, it could be triple, or the investment is there, right?
Mhm.
It's a great investment. So I'm hoping that we see more and more of these athletes, especially the influential Black women like Osaka, Serena, and hopefully we see more and more doing this because we need more of these ownership type positions, right?
Mhm.
So I'm loving it. This is definitely for the culture, for
Oh,
sure.
for sure, for sure, for sure. So, Nelly J, let's go to That's Absurd.
So y'all, Faheem, please tell the folks what was absurd this week, bro. What was
Oh.
absurd?
So, this is usually we keep That's Absurd is kind of a light topic, but this one is actually it's kind of heavy. Um, I'll let you. Okay, Nelly J, you're a female, so I want to get your perspective on this.
Yeah. So
So I'm gonna let
essentially,
you
for
go ahead.
those who don't, yeah. So I'll lay it out for everybody else.
Please do.
So there was a gentleman named an ex. So he played for the Giants and Seattle Seahawks. His name is Chad Wheeler.
Yes.
Okay. Apparently, he had some type of. They say they call it almost a term. They call it like a episode where like a manic episode, and the cops were called to his house. His girlfriend was choked unconsciously, and they had cops try to tackle him down. Like three cops, first of all, they piled on top of him. This guy is so big that he kind of pushed him off the ground, off his back. And they had to taser him because he was like huge. So imagine like those episodes you see like in like wrestling where they jump on someone and this guy still got up. Like he's
Mhm.
that strong. So he's 6'7", 315 pounds. Okay. And to detain him or to put him into custody was a gong show. Um, of course, this gentleman is white because if he was black, we all know what could have happened. What could have happened, right? So what's absurd about this is that this is a domestic violence issue. Not the first one. We've heard of many athletes allegedly or arrested for domestic violence. But the concern that we have with this is that it wasn't really talked about on a lot of sports media channels. Typically, you would see like a lot of these sport networks kind of like when Black athletes did this in the past, it was everywhere.
Right. So you had like Ray Rice.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, it seems like whenever you have especially in speaking in regards to football, because football has also the CTE, the head injury aspect to this
Mm-hmm.
also, right?
Yes, agreed.
So, and that's why this is kind of a heavier thing for me is this. At first, I was kind of apprehensive to actually really speak about this because I didn't really know where we're going to go with this, but I felt like you made a good point where you're saying it that no one's really talking about this. And I think that's for me, that's the most absurd. Actually, no, that's not the most absurd thing is I saw the picture of the damage that he did to the female.
Yeah, to his
And it
girlfriend.
was
His girlfriend.
his girlfriend. And
His ex-girlfriend.
it was disturbing, right?
Yes.
So I saw the picture. But what I'm just not really wrapping my head around is uh, the fact that the media, if it was if say for he's a white player doing this to a black woman, right? If it was reversed and it was a black man doing it to a white woman, uh, or a black man doing it to a black woman, if it was a black man, period, I just feel that the media would find a different angle, different spin, and have a different narrative about this. Just the fact that there's silence, it just really it doesn't sit well with me at all. So that's why I felt like we need to at least address this because there may be some viewers who maybe have heard about it, actually maybe not even heard about it, and if they did hear about it, not really expanded about it a bit, right? So I figured like let's talk about this because with the
It's
CT, do you think it has something to do with CTE or like?
so it's weird because he attacked his girlfriend at her apartment.
Okay.
So my thing is that was he jealous? Did they have an argument? Like I don't know what led him to attack her like that, but it just sucks because like you mentioned, if this is a black man doing this to a white woman,
Mhm,
Lord, this would
mhm,
have been first of all, would he be alive?
mhm.
Would he be alive? Right? We've seen cops shoot black people for less, like that. The auntie who got shot playing with her nephew a video game got shot in her own apartment. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
So it just shows like, the systemic bias towards black criminals and white criminals. And I
mhm.
think what the issue is that we just have to address it, right? It's not fair to me if you're a media outlet and, and you report it on Ray Lewis, you report it on anyone else, Brown, right? In the past,
Mhm.
report on this as well. Don't have
Right,
blinders for white athletes because of the color of their skin. Keep
right,
keep the same energy. You know what I mean? And my issue is that with this, I learned about it through black media outlets, and
right.
then I saw the other outlets talk about it. But I first heard about it through a black news outlet, actually a black news Instagram page, and
Right.
then I saw like then I saw other like major news outlets talk about it like about a week later. But
And
it's
that's
already been out for a week, right? So just showed you the delay on it, and we have to address it. And I think the absurd part, like you mentioned, is the fact that they didn't keep the same energy.
no, because
Ray Lewis, remember that? That was everywhere.
uh-huh.
Like even NFL talked about it. Like I didn't see one, and the fact it was so quiet about it, like well, luckily I'm thankful that the Seahawks dropped him immediately when he was arrested that same day. The Seahawks dropped him, and Russell Wilson. Remember they got a black quarterback, so
Mhm,
he got dropped right away.
mhm.
But I feel bad for the victim because he pled not guilty.
Right.
Shocker, and he even said that he felt so ashamed for what happened. So if you're ashamed of what happened, why you? But I guess he pleaded not guilty to I guess like the charges. He felt that I think it's first degree,
Right.
saying that he actually went there to do that, whereas he's saying that it was a manic episode, like he just came out of nowhere, right?
So
No one knows. So I
I
think
just
the fighting will be like, was it manic? Was it like something that just happened, like he just snapped, or was it something he went premeditated to do that to his girlfriend? That
mm.
would be the decision making by the judge.
So that's one of the things. So I guess we'll throw the allegedly
Yes.
all over this, I guess,
Well,
because nothing's
well for sure he's arrested. Number one, and
okay.
the cops, and again the cops did state that when they arrested him, it was three of them had to put him down, and he still didn't put down, so they tasered him. And the charges have been laid, but he is pleading not guilty to the charges.
Okay, so this is also allegedly also that she wouldn't bow down to him, and that's what led to, or had something to do with this domestic violence against her, which is another layer to this. When they talk absurd, right? So I just want to leave with this. According to the CDC, in regards to domestic violence, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men will experience some kind of physical violence from their intimate partner during their lifetimes. So that's just one to grow on. It's very disturbing. And, usually, like I said, we like to keep That's Absurd light. But I think this is something that, this should be more than just Instagram news, because there's a lot of news that comes on Instagram that really is not true, and you can't really you have to read deeper and get the reliable source, right? So just the fact that this is only an Instagram post circulation, it's kind of absurd right now. So
so now, like, literally, I think CNN and New York Post just reported on it later on, but this was released, this happened in end of January, I think January 27th. So so I'm not saying all of it, but I'm just saying that just keep the same energy, the same way you blast Ray Lewis or you blast any other Black athlete. If you're gonna do it for one person, do for the same. Don't just do it because that person's Black and you get more clicks and more attention, right? So
that's right.
Keep the same energy. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, not all, but I'm saying the sports news outlets, a lot of them did, and some did talk about it, but some just said, oh, they cut ties because of the domestic violence case. But, those same outlets, when it was Ray Lewis or anyone else, they actually showed video clips and they had everything. So I don't know. All I'm saying is that there's a huge bias in the media, and the absurdity is not just what he did, because it's obviously absurd, but the response and the delay of the response by a lot of the media outlets were just not the same energy as others. So
true indeed. So prayers and positive energy and positive thoughts out to his ex-girlfriend who actually had to go through this.
And to anyone else, if you're being abused verbally, emotionally, mentally, or physically by your spouse, prayers up to you, and hopefully you can get the help that you need to get away. So because it's not easy. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And let's go to shout outs, Nelly J.
Yeah, that's episode 25.
Episode 25.
Yes, y'all. So just some lighter topic to talk about. As y'all know, it's Black History Month. So for my shout out, I want to shout out Good Ricky's podcast. I just think that what we're doing for the Black community in Canada, but also really highlighting and taking time to appreciate and celebrate Black history every week is something we strive to do. So kudos to our boy Jomo, our tech guy, Faheem. Shout out to you. And I also want to shout out actually an athlete, because someone I think people forget about, because I think she was very influential, was Dominique Dawes.
Okay.
So everyone knows Simone Biles, right? But before Simone Biles was a Dominique Dawes. And I remember growing up for him, I still watch legit, whenever she was on or on TV, I watched it. I was like, wow, seeing a Black woman or Black girl doing Black girl magic back in the 90s, right? It was insane. So Dominique Dawes, she's a 3-time Olympian, first African-American woman to earn an individual Olympic medal, okay? I want to shout her out for what she's done, because now we're seeing, as you guys saw, more and more Black gymnasts doing amazing things. And that wouldn't have happened without Dominique Dawes. So I want to give her a huge shout out on this Black History Month. What about you?
I want to, for this Black History Month, want to shout out, this is history during Black History. Fred VanVleet, 54 points. Raptor record in one game. Shout out to Freddie V. Completely unstoppable. And not only did he do it, but he did it very effectively. You know what I'm saying? He didn't chuck up a whole heap of, he did it on almost 60% shooting. He was on fire in a zone. And, to have a Raptor record like that, salute to Fred VanVleet. And tying this back to Bobby Webster, I know he didn't make our list in regards to our top 3 most influential Bobby Webster signings. But, that 54-pointer right there is one that, we can still tie that to Bobby, give him some respect on that also. So shout out to Bobby Webster and shout out to Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, undrafted, G League champion, NBA champion. This guy's making history legit as we speak. And in terms of Kevin Durant, he tweeted out, he said, all swishes. That's what he said to Freddie V. All swishes. So that's what he did all game.
Nice. All game.
All game. Right. Have you seen the meme with Bradley Beal about, he's like, how do you score 50 points and still win the game? Bradley Beal did that but lost. I love memes, guys? Send me a meme. I love to laugh. So yeah, that was a funny meme about that, by the way.
Actually, I want to shout out Bradley Beal too. He's balling out of control.
Yes.
Forget the team record. He has actually taken what happened last year, that snub. He's taken it personally, and he's stepping up his game on control. Like he's on another level right now.
He's going off.
When you talk scores in the game, I think of James Harden, and next name that comes to mind is Bradley Beal. Like he is like a sniper. So for real, shout out to Bradley Beal.
Awesome, man. So y'all, this episode 25. So y'all, as you know, we are community, we are family. So please share with a friend to share with a friend. Thank you for all the support. Black History Month, but every month, because Black History is not just one month, it's all year round. And of course, please check us out everywhere. So Faheem, let them know where they can find good rookies.
Check us out on all podcast platforms. Anywhere you want to see us or hear us, we're there for you. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's Black History Month. We got things in store, and we do appreciate the time you've taken to be with us. That's Good Rookies Podcast, episode 25. And we out. Peace.